Some of these marks are clearly natural, scars from wind, lightning, or passing animals, but others appear deliberate, the work of human hands. These carvings, weathered by decades, have inspired stories, theories, and gentle wonder, adding layers of mystery to the tree without ever demanding alarm. Early settlers reported seeing initials carved into the tree, letters that had been placed there carefully, likely to mark the passage of time or to leave a personal imprint on the land. Such carvings were common across rural America. People often etched their names into trees as a record of presence, a small statement that they had been there. Yet, at the Devil's Tree, even ordinary initials seemed to carry an unusual weight. Perhaps it was the tree's solitude, its twisted branches silhouetted against the sky, or the hushed air of the surrounding forest, but the carvings often felt more significant than simple graffiti. They became part of the story, small artifacts of human interaction with an enduring natural monument. In addition to initials, some visitors have reported seeing strange symbols etched into the bark. Spirals, geometric patterns, and small crosses appear across the trunk and lower branches. Their origins are debated. Some suggest they were left by early settlers practicing superstitions or rituals. Others propose they might have been markings made by indigenous peoples, carrying meanings now lost to time. Still others believe the symbols are purely coincidental, natural formations misinterpreted by the human eye. Whatever their origin, these markings have been observed repeatedly, and they add a quiet sense of intrigue. The tree, after all, seems to remember the hands that touched it, the stories told beneath its branches, and the curiosity of generations of observers. One of the most captivating aspects of the markings is their subtle transformation over time. Weather, sunlight, and the slow growth of bark have altered the carvings, blurring lines and softening edges. What might have once been a clearly defined spiral becomes a faint suggestion of a pattern. Letters fade into the texture of the tree. Yet, even as the shapes shift and soften, they continue to invite observation. Visitors often find themselves tracing the contours of the bark with their eyes, wondering at the intention behind each mark. This quiet engagement, looking closely, noticing detail, reflecting, is a key part of the tree's enduring allure. In the early 20th century, some local historians and folklorists began carefully documenting the markings. They took photographs, recorded sketches, and noted the positions and shapes of each symbol. These records reveal a fascinating consistency. Multiple observers across decades reported similar patterns, though exact interpretations varied. Some carvings resemble letters or numbers, others appear more abstract, like geometric figures or spirals. The consistency of observation reinforces the sense that the tree is more than a mere collection of wood and bark. It is a canvas, slowly shaped by both nature and human hands over time. Not all interpretations are rooted in history or practicality. Some visitors have speculated that the carvings are part of an old ritual, perhaps meant to protect the tree, mark sacred ground, or honor spirits of the forest. While these ideas remain unproven, they illustrate the imaginative engagement that the tree inspires. Observers often approach the markings gently, mindful of the bark's delicate surface, and spend long minutes considering what stories the symbols might hold. In doing so, they become part of the ongoing dialogue between human imagination and the natural world, a dialogue that has persisted for generations. The Devil's Tree is not unique in having carvings or marks, but its isolation and twisted form amplify their effect. A symbol etched into a plain tree along a roadside might go unnoticed. The same shape on a tree in a quiet, shadowed clearing feels significant. Some visitors report that, even after careful examination, the symbols seem to shift slightly in appearance as the light changes, or as they move their gaze. This subtle optical illusion adds a layer of quiet fascination, a gentle reminder that the natural world and human perception often intersect in ways that are mysterious but calming. Modern observers sometimes take photographs of the symbols, hoping to capture their details for closer study. In many cases, the photographs reveal small, delicate patterns that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Shadows cast by branches or the texture of the bark enhance the shapes, lending them an almost ethereal quality. It is rare for any photograph to fully explain the markings. Instead, they encourage closer observation and quiet reflection. Observers describe the experience as meditative, a chance to slow down, notice the small details of nature, and participate in a tradition of careful attention that has lasted for centuries. Some of the most mysterious reports involve marks that appear to change over time. Visitors who return after several months or years sometimes notice that carvings seem deeper, lighter, or slightly altered. While natural growth and weathering explain some of these changes, a few accounts describe marks that seem almost renewed or repositioned. Whether this is coincidence, natural phenomenon, or the imagination filling in gaps, it reinforces the sense that the devil's tree is alive in a subtle, patient way, responding to the attention and presence of those who visit it. The interaction between human observation and the tree's enduring presence creates a quiet rhythm. People carve, nature weathers, and observers notice. This slow cycle allows the tree to accumulate layers of history, legend, and fascination without ever demanding immediate attention. Each visitor contributes to the ongoing story, whether by carving initials, observing existing marks, or simply sitting quietly beneath the branches. The devil's tree becomes a living archive, recording subtle human presence and natural change across time. Even for those who do not engage in carving, simply noticing the markings becomes a gentle form of participation. Observers trace shapes with their eyes, compare photographs, and consider the possible meanings of each symbol. In doing so, they enter into a quiet dialogue with the tree, connecting with generations of past visitors, and reflecting on the passage of time. This process, calm and meditative, reinforces the unique character of the devil's tree. It is a place where ordinary attention becomes extraordinary, and where small, gentle observations carry significance. Some of the symbols have inspired entire theories about the tree's history and purpose. Scholars and amateur researchers have proposed that the carvings might mark historical events, serve as directional guides, or encode subtle messages left by those who valued the tree for spiritual or practical reasons. These theories are fascinating, but the true origin of many symbols remains unknown. The uncertainty is part of the charm. The tree's mystery is not solved, but quietly appreciated, its questions lingering softly in the minds of those who pause to observe. The calming allure of the markings is enhanced by their subtlety. There is no loud message or shocking display, only the patient invitation to notice, reflect, and imagine. Observers often describe a sense of connection, a feeling of being part of something larger than themselves, a history, a tradition, a forest that carries whispers of the past through its trees, its shadows, and its quiet presence. So, as you picture the devil's tree today, imagine standing before its dark, twisted trunk. Let your eyes follow the grooves, the scars, and the faint carvings left by hands long gone. Notice the subtle patterns, the spirals and shapes that hint at stories untold. Feel the quiet patience of the tree, standing in its clearing for centuries, holding these marks gently, without alarm or urgency. And allow your mind to wander slowly along the paths of history, imagination, and quiet reflection, as the tree continues to keep watch over all who pause beneath its branches. The forest around the devil's tree grows quieter as night deepens, and the clearing becomes a place where shadows stretch and bend in ways that feel both ordinary and unusual. Over the decades, countless visitors have reported subtle, unexplained phenomena, experiences that do not startle or frighten, but instead provoke quiet curiosity and gentle reflection. These sightings are not loud or alarming, rather, they are whispers in the night, soft suggestions that something extraordinary exists alongside the familiar rhythms of the forest. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the sensation of being observed. People standing in the clearing at night often describe a gentle awareness, as if invisible eyes are watching from the shadowed branches or the folds of the underbrush. It is not threatening, nor does it produce fear. Instead, it encourages a quiet mindfulness, an attentiveness to the subtle details of the clearing, the way a leaf flutters against the trunk, the faint rustle of a small animal, the slow, deliberate sway of branches in a soft wind. This awareness, gentle and persistent, is at the heart of many modern encounters at the Devil's Tree. Some visitors describe seeing figures in the periphery of their vision. These are not detailed apparitions, nor are they frightening. Often, they are fleeting silhouettes that appear and vanish as the observer's gaze shifts. One report from the 1980s tells of a woman walking alone at dusk. She noticed a dark shape moving behind the branches, just beyond the light of her flashlight. When she turned to look directly, the figure was gone. Yet she recalled the encounter with calm wonder, not fear, reflecting on the quiet mystery of the forest and the tree at its center. Another common story involves the subtle play of light and shadow. Moonlight filtering through the twisted branches can create shapes on the forest floor that appear to shift or move. Observers have described shadows that seem longer than they should be, or patches of darkness that stretch toward them in slow, fluid patterns. In the stillness of night, these effects can seem almost deliberate, like the forest itself is participating in a quiet dance of light and shade. The experience is soothing, meditative, and filled with a gentle sense of awe. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of the supernatural stories is their consistency over time. Accounts from the 1950s, 1970s, and 1990s all describe similar sensations: the feeling of being observed, subtle figures or shadows, and quiet sounds that are difficult to explain. No one reports being harmed, and the experiences are rarely alarming. Instead, they create a sense of connection, linking the observer to the forest, to the tree, and to generations of people who have quietly explored the clearing before them. Soft sounds are another recurring element in the reports. People have recorded faint rustling, whispers, or creaking noises that seem to come from within the tree itself or from the surrounding underbrush. These sounds are usually subtle, often indistinguishable from the natural noises of a forest at night. Yet many visitors describe them as extraordinary, an unexpected layering of auditory detail that feels like communication, like the tree or the forest is gently sharing a secret. These quiet encounters reinforce the tree's reputation not as a place of fear, but as a place of reflection, attention, and curiosity. One of the more charming accounts involves nocturnal wildlife behaving in unusual ways. Owls may pause mid-flight to observe a visitor, foxes linger at the edge of the clearing, and even insects seem to move more deliberately in the quiet space. Observers report that animals often respond to the tree as though it were the center of a calm, natural rhythm. This gentle harmony contributes to the sense of the tree as a living, conscious presence, not in a frightening sense, but as a sentinel that quietly oversees the forest. Some encounters involve fleeting lights, which observers describe as small glimmers among the branches. These are not flashlights or reflections from distant roads, but faint, gentle glows that seem to move with purpose. People who have witnessed these lights often describe a feeling of calm fascination. A sense that the forest is quietly alive in ways that are subtle and deeply intriguing. The lights vanish as quietly as they appear, leaving only the memory of the soft, mesmerizing experience. There are also reports of subtle physical sensations. A chill might drift across the clearing, a soft brush of air may touch the skin, or an unexplained sense of anticipation may fill the observer. These experiences are not alarming, but they heighten awareness, drawing attention to the slow rhythms of the forest. Visitors often pause, breathe deeply, and reflect on the long history of the tree, the many generations of observers before them, and the quiet continuity of the natural world. Interestingly, these supernatural encounters often encourage reflection rather than fear. People who visit the Devil's Tree at night describe a profound sense of peace and mindfulness. The experience draws attention to small details, the texture of the bark, the movement of the leaves, the rhythm of the wind, and encourages observers to slow down, notice, and reflect. This is what makes the tree so remarkable. It inspires curiosity, wonder, and calm observation, rather than alarm or distress. Some modern explorers attempt gentle experiments. They stand silently in the clearing, waiting for movement or listening for subtle sounds. They bring cameras, recorders, or notepads, documenting small phenomena and quiet observations. Rarely do these experiments reveal anything dramatic, but they often heighten awareness. Observers become attuned to nuances they might otherwise overlook, the way shadows bend in moonlight, the patterns of nocturnal animals, the gentle rhythm of the forest at night. The tree becomes a center of reflection, a quiet anchor in the natural world. It is important to note that these experiences are often deeply personal. One visitor may notice subtle shifts in shadow, while another is drawn to soft whispers or fleeting lights. Each observer participates in the story of the tree in their own way, contributing to a tapestry of quiet encounters that stretch across decades. The cumulative effect is a gentle, layered legend, an enduring tale of subtle mystery that calms rather than frightens, and that encourages mindfulness, attention, and curiosity. Even children visiting with their families have reported quiet, unexplainable moments. A child might pause suddenly, pointing to a shadow that seems to move just beyond the branch, or notice a small glow flickering among the leaves. Parents often describe these experiences as peaceful rather than alarming, emphasizing the meditative quality of observing the forest at night. In this way, the Devil's Tree becomes a gentle teacher, showing that mystery can be subtle, that observation can be calm, and that quiet curiosity is a skill that grows stronger with patience. The Devil's Tree is also known for inspiring creative imagination. Writers, artists, and photographers have captured its presence in quiet, contemplative works. Even those who have never visited the tree often report feeling a connection to its legend, a sense of calm curiosity, a slow awareness of mystery, and a gentle fascination with natural phenomena. The combination of subtle supernatural experiences, enduring folklore, and natural beauty creates a space where imagination and reality blend gently, offering a sense of serenity rather than fear. Ultimately, the supernatural aspects of the Devil's Tree are best understood not as threats, but as invitations to slow down, notice, reflect, and participate in a tradition of calm observation. Shadows, whispers, and faint lights encourage mindfulness. They draw attention to the slow, deliberate rhythms of the forest, and remind observers that the natural world is layered with subtle phenomena that are often extraordinary precisely because they are understated. As night deepens in the clearing, the tree continues its quiet watch. Moonlight drifts through the branches, casting gentle, shifting patterns across the forest floor. Leaves rustle softly in the breeze. Owls call in the distance, and the faint scurry of small creatures passes unnoticed. And if you stand quietly beneath the devil's tree, as countless generations have done before, you may sense the subtle presence that has inspired whispers and legends for decades. It is not frightening, but deeply captivating, a reminder that mystery does not always need to be loud to be profound, and that quiet observation can reveal a beauty and wonder that is both calming and enduring. As the years passed, the devil's tree continued to draw attention, not only from curious locals and hikers, but also from those who sought to explore the paranormal. The 20th and 21st centuries brought with them new technology, new methods of documentation, and a quiet curiosity about places where legend and experience intersect. Cameras, video equipment, and audio recorders allowed modern visitors to capture glimpses of the clearing, its shadows, and the subtle phenomena that had fascinated generations before them. Some of the earliest modern explorations came from journalists and amateur historians who approached the tree cautiously, documenting their experiences with calm observation rather than dramatics. They described standing in the clearing, noting the twisted branches silhouetted against the sky, the soft rustle of leaves, and the cool, still air that seemed to gather around the tree. Using simple cameras and notebooks, they recorded the shapes of carvings in the bark, the patterns of shadows, and the delicate movements of the forest around them. These quiet accounts reinforced what locals had long known: the tree's presence is profound, yet understated, and it invites reflection more than alarm. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, paranormal enthusiasts began visiting the Devil's Tree with a more formal interest in documenting unusual phenomena. They brought recording devices, thermometers, and cameras, hoping to capture subtle changes in temperature, sounds, or light. One small group, visiting on a calm autumn evening, described a gentle chill that seemed to settle over the clearing as they approached the tree. Their equipment recorded faint, low-frequency sounds that could not be attributed to wind or animals. While the recordings did not reveal startling events, the group described the experience as meditative and deeply intriguing, highlighting the quiet mystery that surrounds the tree. Photographers have also contributed to the tree's modern legend. Capturing images at dawn or dusk, they note the way light filters through the branches, casting long, shifting shadows across the forest floor. These shadows sometimes create shapes that appear almost deliberate, resembling twisting figures or abstract patterns that spark imagination. Observers often describe the experience of photographing the tree as slow and calming, requiring patience and attention to detail. The result is a gentle, contemplative exploration of the tree's presence, where the act of observing becomes as meaningful as any phenomena captured on film. Some documented encounters involve unusual light effects. Visitors have reported faint glows around the tree during nighttime visits, small, soft illuminations that appear among the branches and vanish as quietly as they arrive. These lights are not sudden or startling, they are subtle, slow, and often fleeting. People describe them as calming, almost like the forest is softly breathing, a gentle reminder that the world contains mysteries that cannot always be explained, yet can be appreciated with quiet curiosity. Audio recordings taken near the tree sometimes capture gentle, unexplained sounds, rustling leaves, faint creaks, and the soft whisper of wind moving through the branches. Paranormal investigators describe these as subtle echoes, layering themselves over the natural forest sounds. Rather than producing fear, these quiet noises invite careful attention and reflection. Observers often pause to listen, allowing themselves to slow down and notice nuances they might otherwise overlook. This gentle, mindful observation is a recurring theme in all documented experiences of the Devil's Tree. Many modern visitors also note the behavior of animals in the clearing. Nocturnal creatures often behave differently near the tree. Foxes pause and watch, owls linger in the branches, and even small insects move with a deliberate rhythm. Some explorers interpret this as the natural response of wildlife to a prominent environmental feature, while others sense a subtle, almost conscious presence in the tree itself. Either way, the interactions reinforce the quiet, contemplative mood of the clearing, making it a place of gentle observation rather than alarm. One interesting aspect of modern investigations is the attempt to combine science with legend. Researchers have measured soil conditions, examined the surrounding vegetation, and documented changes in the tree over time. They note that its isolation and age create microclimates within the clearing, contributing to the subtle differences in temperature and air movement reported by visitors. Yet, even with these explanations, the tree retains its mystique. The combination of natural factors and human attention produces a sense of wonder that is calming, meditative, and quietly compelling. Some modern explorers have shared experiences that blend observation with introspection. One individual, visiting on a cool spring evening, described sitting beneath the branches for nearly an hour, listening to the gentle rustle of leaves and observing shadows shifting in the moonlight. They reported feeling a profound connection to the generations of people who had come before, sensing the patience and endurance of the tree as it quietly watched over the clearing. The experience was not frightening, but deeply grounding, a soft reminder of the slow rhythms of both nature and time. It is worth noting that modern explorations often emphasize respect and mindfulness. Visitors are encouraged to observe quietly, avoid disturbing the tree or surrounding forest, and reflect on the experiences rather than seeking dramatic effects. This approach aligns with the broader narrative of the Devil's Tree. Its legend has grown slowly over centuries, shaped by gentle observation, thoughtful attention, and the quiet human imagination. The tree invites participation, but always on its own terms, rewarding patience, calm, and reflection. Some documented encounters also involve collaborative observation. Groups of friends, family members, or amateur historians gather quietly in the clearing, sharing gentle descriptions of what they see, hear, and feel. They note subtle changes in light and shadow, trace the markings in the bark, and listen carefully for the soft, unexplainable sounds that occasionally emerge. These shared experiences create a communal sense of calm, encouraging participants to slow down, notice details, and appreciate the continuity of the tree's presence across generations. Interestingly, even in the age of technology, the Devil's Tree continues to resist full documentation. Cameras can capture its shape and shadows, recorders can pick up ambient noise, and thermometers can measure subtle temperature changes, but the essence of the tree, its quiet, enduring presence, remains elusive. Observers describe this as part of the charm. The tree is fully present, yet partially unknowable, inviting a slow, meditative attention that cannot be hurried or forced. Many modern investigations reinforce a recurring theme: mystery need not be loud or alarming to be meaningful. The Devil's Tree offers a quiet, contemplative experience, a space where the ordinary and the extraordinary blend in subtle ways. Whether it is a faint shadow, a gentle rustling, a soft glow of light, or the slow movement of animals through the clearing, each encounter encourages mindfulness, reflection, and calm curiosity. Visitors leave not with stories of fear, but with a quiet sense of wonder, a gentle engagement with both nature and legend. Even digital documentation, photographs, videos, and online reports, contributes to the legend without diminishing its serenity. People share their observations, careful notes, and photographs with others, creating a network of gentle awareness that spans decades and communities. The collective attention adds layers to the tree's quiet presence, reinforcing its role as a place of calm observation and enduring fascination. So, as we imagine the modern explorations of the Devil's Tree, picture visitors standing quietly in the clearing, cameras in hand, soft lights casting gentle illumination across the forest floor. Hear the faint rustle of leaves, the distant calls of nocturnal birds, and the soft, almost imperceptible whisper of the wind through the branches. Observe the subtle interplay of shadows and light, the quiet patience of the tree, and the meditative calm of those who pause beneath its twisted limbs. And allow yourself to feel the gentle, enduring allure of a place where history, legend, and nature intersect softly, quietly, and profoundly. The Devil's Tree, quiet and steadfast in its clearing, has long existed as both a natural landmark and a focal point for human imagination. As stories of the tree spread beyond the immediate area, folklore began to intermingle with documented experience, creating a rich tapestry of legend. Newspapers, magazines, and local storytellers played a gentle but profound role in shaping how the tree was perceived, sometimes emphasizing mystery, other times offering a light-hearted or cautionary perspective, all without ever disturbing the calm presence of the forest itself. In the early decades of the 20th century, local newspapers occasionally mentioned the Devil's Tree in brief notes or community columns. These early accounts were often straightforward: a tree in a secluded clearing, unusually twisted, with curious carvings etched into its bark. Yet, even in these simple descriptions, a subtle aura of intrigue began to emerge. Readers could imagine the shadowy forest, the soft rustle of leaves, and the slow, patient branches reaching skyward, inviting attention and quiet reflection. Such accounts were rarely sensational, but they planted the seeds of curiosity in the minds of those who lived nearby or passed through the area. Folklore, as it often does, grew organically. Generations of families passed stories of the tree down in whispers, emphasizing the unusual shapes of its branches, the faint carvings in its bark, and the subtle chill that sometimes settled over the clearing at night. These stories were gentle rather than alarming. The Devil's Tree was not a place of terror, but a place where the forest seemed to hold its breath, where time slowed, and where observation became a quiet, meditative act. Children were warned to be respectful, adults were encouraged to notice quietly, and the tree became a shared symbol of calm curiosity and wonder. As media coverage expanded, some embellishment naturally occurred. Photographs of the tree, often taken at dusk or under moonlight, highlighted its twisted, isolated form, giving it an almost theatrical quality. Articles sometimes described the tree as cursed or haunted, but in a manner that was playful, almost reverent, rather than sensational or frightening. The careful blend of fact and folklore added to the tree's allure. Readers were invited to imagine the clearing, to picture themselves walking slowly beneath its branches, and to experience the quiet wonder that generations of visitors had felt firsthand. One of the more fascinating aspects of media coverage is the consistency with which subtle details are preserved. Across decades, journalists, local historians, and hobbyists have reported the same elements: the carved symbols, the unusual branch shapes, the subtle shifts in light and shadow, and the gentle but persistent sense of presence. Even as stories evolved and legends grew, the core experience remained calm and contemplative. The media, in essence, became a mirror, reflecting the quiet fascination that visitors felt in person while spreading it to a wider audience. Folklore exaggerations often focused on what might be called the whisper of possibility. Stories hinted at spirits, unexplained lights, or the tree's quiet awareness, but these tales were never loud or sensationalized in a frightening way. Instead, they invited imagination, curiosity, and reflection. Readers could picture the forest clearing bathed in soft moonlight, the wind moving gently through the twisted branches, and themselves pausing quietly to notice the carvings, shadows, and subtle sounds. The stories encouraged mindfulness, a gentle slowing of pace, and a reflective awareness that is central to the enduring legend of the Devil's Tree. As time progressed, guidebooks, local history compilations, and paranormal directories began including entries on the tree. These accounts often combined historical notes with first-hand observations and folklore, presenting a careful blend of fact and legend. Visitors reading these sources were encouraged to approach with curiosity and respect, not fear. Some writers emphasized the tree's ancient age and remarkable shape, while others recounted subtle paranormal reports, yet all maintained a tone of calm, measured storytelling. The result was a gentle expansion of the tree's legend, making it accessible to a broader audience while preserving the quiet charm of the clearing. Local storytellers, too, contributed to the careful weaving of myth. Around fireplaces, at community gatherings, or during slow, reflective walks through the woods, tales of the Devil's Tree were shared in soft voices. The stories emphasized patience, attention, and reverence for the natural world. Children were invited to imagine shapes in the branches, adults were encouraged to notice subtle sounds, and all listeners learned that the tree demanded observation more than imagination could supply. These communal storytelling practices ensured that the legend remained gentle, immersive, and deeply connected to the rhythms of the forest. Interestingly, the media and folklore rarely focused on fear or alarm. Instead, they highlight a slow, meditative curiosity. Accounts describe small, gentle phenomena, shadows that shift slowly, lights that flicker in the trees, faint sounds of leaves and wind, and the presence of animals moving quietly through the clearing. This focus on subtle, understated experiences reinforces the overall calm of the legend. The Devil's Tree is not a place of startling fright or dramatic spectacle, it is a place where observation, reflection, and imagination blend in a quiet, enduring way. Another theme in media accounts is the enduring mystery of the carvings. Photographs, sketches, and descriptions from the 20th century onward document initials, symbols, spirals, and geometric patterns etched into the bark. Articles occasionally speculate on their origin. Some suggest they were left by early settlers, others hint at Native American symbolism, while still others propose playful legends of small rituals or messages for those who visit quietly. These speculations are presented softly, encouraging reflection rather than alarm, and they add richness to the legend without disturbing the calm of the clearing. Even online forums and social media, in more recent years, have maintained this gentle tone. Participants share photographs, soft anecdotes, and reflective observations rather than sensational claims. People post images of the tree at twilight, describe quiet moments beneath its branches, and recount subtle experiences with wind, light, or shadows. The cumulative effect is a community of observers who value mindfulness and gentle attention, preserving the meditative qualities of the Devil's Tree legend in the modern age. It is worth noting that the blending of myth and reality has always been a slow, deliberate process. The tree itself has not changed in dramatic ways, its branches still twist skyward, its bark still bears markings, and its clearing remains calm and secluded. What has grown over time is the collective attention, imagination, and storytelling of those who notice, reflect, and share their observations. This gentle accumulation of stories ensures that the Devil's Tree remains a place of quiet fascination, accessible to anyone willing to slow down and observe. Even media exaggerations, when measured, contribute positively to the legend. By emphasizing mystery without creating alarm, they invite new visitors to experience the clearing firsthand, to notice the subtle play of light and shadow, and to participate in centuries of quiet observation. The story of the Devil's Tree is, in this way, self-perpetuating. Each new account, whether folkloric, journalistic, or personal, adds another layer of gentle intrigue while preserving the calm, meditative atmosphere that defines the experience. So, as you imagine the tree through the lens of history, media, and folklore, picture generations of visitors pausing quietly in its clearing. See the soft illumination of twilight or moonlight filtering through twisted branches, hear the gentle rustle of leaves and wind, and sense the faint, almost imperceptible patterns of movement in the shadows. Imagine the storytellers of decades past, sitting around fires or walking softly through the forest, sharing gentle legends that encourage reflection and calm observation. And know that each story, each photograph, each shared whisper of curiosity contributes to a legacy that is as subtle, enduring, and meditative as the tree itself. In the blending of myth and reality, we find the true essence of the Devil's Tree, a place where history, imagination, and observation meet quietly. It is a living archive of generations, holding memories in its twisted branches, its carved bark, and the soft, shifting shadows beneath its limbs. The legend is not sudden, not sensational, but slowly, patiently accumulated, layer upon layer of stories, reflections, and quiet curiosity that invite every visitor to join in the ongoing meditation of presence, observation, and wonder. The Devil's Tree, standing quietly in its shadowed clearing, has long drawn not only observers and storytellers but also those curious about the cultural significance of a place that blends nature, legend, and history. Its presence has quietly influenced local culture, inspired community fascination, and attracted visitors who seek calm, reflective experiences. Across decades, the tree has become more than a solitary oak. It has grown into a symbol of patient observation, a site of gentle curiosity, and a marker of the delicate interplay between folklore and everyday life. Locals have always approached the tree with a sense of reverence. Stories passed down from grandparents to grandchildren often emphasize respect. Do not harm the tree. Do not carve unnecessarily, and do not rush through the clearing. Instead, pause, notice, and reflect. The emphasis is not on fear, but on mindfulness, a lesson quietly imparted through storytelling, observation, and careful interaction with the natural world. In this way, the Devil's Tree has subtly shaped the culture of its community, encouraging a slow, reflective approach to both legend and landscape. Tourists, drawn to the Devil's Tree by articles, guidebooks, or word of mouth, often report a sense of calm as they enter the clearing. Unlike destinations that provoke excitement or alarm, the tree invites slow engagement. Visitors often linger, noticing the subtle curves of the branches, the texture of the bark, and the gentle rustle of leaves. Many describe a meditative sensation, a quiet connection to the history and the people who have come before them. This cultural impact is unique. The legend of the tree does not demand attention through spectacle, but through reflection, mindfulness, and patience. Over time, the tree has inspired small-scale tourism. People from nearby towns and even distant regions occasionally journey to the clearing to see it for themselves. These visits are often quiet and thoughtful. Tourists bring cameras, sketchpads, and notebooks, carefully recording what they observe. Yet, despite this modern attention, the clearing remains calm. Unlike heavily visited landmarks, the Devil's Tree retains its peaceful aura. Visitors move slowly, speak softly, and often describe the experience as restorative, a gentle pause in an otherwise busy world. Local festivals, history walks, and storytelling events sometimes feature the Devil's Tree as a symbol of the area's unique character. During these occasions, storytellers emphasize calm observation and reflective curiosity rather than fear or dramatic spectacle. Children listen to tales of the carvings, the subtle shadows, and the faint sounds of the clearing, learning the lessons of patience and respect. Adults are reminded of the quiet presence of nature, the slow accumulation of legend, and the ways in which human attention can shape the stories that endure across generations. The cultural significance of the Devil's Tree is also reflected in art, photography, and literature. Artists capture its twisted form in gentle sketches. Photographs taken at dusk reveal the intricate interplay of light and shadow, and writers compose soft, reflective essays inspired by the clearing. These creative works do not sensationalize the tree, instead, they preserve and amplify its calming qualities. Each work becomes part of the ongoing cultural legacy, inviting others to pause, notice, and reflect in the same way that generations of visitors have before them. One fascinating aspect of the tree's cultural impact is the way it encourages community storytelling. Local residents often gather in small groups to share experiences, recount historical anecdotes, or discuss theories about the carvings and subtle phenomena. These gatherings are quiet, contemplative, and deeply respectful of the tree itself. In this context, the Devil's Tree serves as a focal point for cultural continuity, linking the past with the present through shared reflection and gentle conversation. Despite its allure, the Devil's Tree has remained a site of mystery rather than commercialization. There are no bright signs, gift shops, or loud attractions. Its power lies in its simplicity and its enduring presence. Visitors are invited to experience the clearing as it has existed for centuries, a place where history, nature, and human imagination intersect quietly. The absence of spectacle allows the subtle qualities of the tree, its twisted branches, faint carvings, and soft shadows, to take center stage, fostering a calm, immersive experience. Tourists often remark on the meditative quality of visiting the tree. Some describe standing silently in the clearing for minutes or even hours, noticing the patterns of light on the forest floor, the movement of wildlife, and the gentle sway of the branches in the wind. This quiet engagement is central to the cultural significance of the tree. It demonstrates that human fascination with nature does not require loud displays or dramatic events. Instead, thoughtful observation, patience, and mindfulness create a deeply satisfying and enduring experience. Local folklore continues to shape how visitors perceive the tree. Even in casual conversation, people emphasize calm observation, respect for nature, and an appreciation for subtle mysteries. Tales of faint lights, soft sounds, and gentle shadows are shared with a sense of reverence rather than alarm. This careful framing ensures that the legend remains soothing, meditative, and reflective, reinforcing the tree's role as a cultural and historical touchstone rather than a source of fear. Educational programs and guided tours sometimes include the tree as part of broader discussions about local history, natural science, and folklore. Students and visitors are encouraged to observe quietly, record subtle phenomena, and consider the interplay of human imagination and natural features. These programs highlight how the Devil's Tree continues to serve as a living classroom, a place where cultural heritage, natural observation, and reflective storytelling intersect in a calm, engaging manner. The Devil's Tree also inspires personal reflection. Visitors often report feeling a sense of connection to those who came before, from indigenous peoples who may have regarded the tree as significant, to settlers who observed and recorded its unusual features, to modern explorers documenting subtle phenomena. This continuum of human attention creates a sense of timelessness. The tree becomes a bridge between generations, offering a quiet, meditative space for reflection on history, nature, and the gentle persistence of legend. Even casual observers contribute to the cultural impact. Those who pause briefly to admire the tree, take photographs, or note the markings in their notebooks participate in the ongoing story. Each quiet moment of attention reinforces the tree's role as a site of reflection and gentle fascination. Over time, these small acts of observation accumulate, forming a rich, layered cultural narrative that extends far beyond the clearing itself. The enduring cultural fascination with the Devil's Tree is also reflected in the broader regional identity. The tree has become a symbol of patience, observation, and respect for the subtle mysteries of the natural world. Residents often refer to it as a point of pride, a gentle emblem of the area's unique character. This connection between the tree and the community reinforces the calming, reflective qualities of the legend, ensuring that it remains a source of quiet fascination for generations to come. In essence, the Devil's Tree demonstrates the quiet power of observation, storytelling, and reverence. Its influence on local culture, tourism, and creative expression is subtle but profound. Visitors are drawn not by fear, but by curiosity and mindfulness. Communities preserve its legend not through sensationalism, but through careful storytelling, reflection, and respect. The tree's cultural impact lies in its ability to inspire calm, reflective engagement, reminding each visitor of the slow, gentle rhythms of nature, history, and human imagination. As we imagine standing once more in the clearing, we can see why the Devil's Tree continues to fascinate. Picture the soft rustling of leaves, the gentle sway of branches, and the faint traces of carvings etched into the bark. Hear the distant calls of birds, the whisper of wind, and the quiet sounds of a forest alive but serene. Imagine the visitors who have paused here before, each adding a layer to the gentle cultural story, each participating in a quiet meditation on time, nature, and legend. And know that, through observation, reflection, and respect, the Devil's Tree remains a calm, enduring presence, a place where curiosity is encouraged, imagination is invited, and peace quietly resides. As time flows quietly through the forest surrounding the Devil's Tree, the clearing continues to inspire fascination, reflection, and gentle storytelling. Modern legends, subtle fears, and ongoing curiosity have transformed the tree from a local landmark into a symbol of enduring mystery. Yet, even as tales grow and imagination flourishes, the experience of visiting remains calm and meditative. The Devil's Tree is not a place of sudden terror or alarm. It is a quiet space where observation, reflection, and gentle curiosity intertwine. Even in the present day, visitors report lingering feelings that are difficult to explain. Some speak of a soft sense of being watched, a gentle awareness that seems to settle over the clearing without pressing or alarming. Others notice shadows that shift in ways that feel deliberate yet natural, or faint glimmers of light among the branches. These experiences are subtle and fleeting, more like invitations to observe than warnings or threats. The tree, in its quiet endurance, teaches that mystery can be profound without ever raising the heart rate. Modern legends often build upon personal encounters and local folklore, blending observation with imagination. Stories circulate of visitors who saw strange, fleeting figures in the shadows, or heard soft footsteps that left no trace. One account describes a lone hiker seeing a faint light moving along the edge of the clearing at dusk. When he approached, the light vanished, leaving him with a sense of calm wonder rather than fear. These narratives, shared quietly through word of mouth, online forums, or local gatherings, reinforce the subtle, meditative qualities of the tree's legend. Interestingly, these modern stories often emphasize personal reflection rather than dramatic events. Visitors describe quiet contemplation beneath the branches, noticing the carvings, the wind, and the soft creak of old limbs. Some have paused for hours in the clearing, sketching the tree or journaling their thoughts, inspired by a sense of connection to generations past. Each personal story adds a layer to the collective understanding of the tree, strengthening its role as a place of gentle fascination. A recurring theme in modern legends is the interplay between fear and curiosity. Many first-time visitors arrive expecting to encounter something alarming, drawn by the tales of the Devil's Tree. Yet, most find the experience far more calming than frightening. Shadows, subtle sounds, and unusual shapes provoke curiosity, not panic. People often leave with a quiet sense of awe, reflecting on the persistence of nature, the patience of the tree, and the enduring power of subtle mystery. Some modern legends involve unusual interactions with wildlife. Visitors have reported foxes pausing to observe from the edges of the clearing, owls remaining unusually still in branches, and other animals behaving in ways that seem attentive or curious. These encounters are never threatening, rather, they heighten the sense of immersion and reflection, reminding visitors that the clearing is part of a living, breathing ecosystem. The animals, the wind, and the light together create a gentle, meditative experience that reinforces the tree's calm fascination. Documented experiences from paranormal investigators add another layer to modern legends. Using cameras, sound recorders, and other equipment, they often capture subtle phenomena, faint rustling, brief temperature changes, or fleeting shapes in the shadows. Yet even these accounts emphasize calm observation rather than fear. Investigators often describe the tree as a space for quiet contemplation, where the unexpected is subtle and the ordinary is full of quiet wonder. Their stories contribute to the legend, highlighting that the Devil's Tree inspires fascination through subtlety and attentiveness rather than spectacle or alarm. Modern legends also include gentle explanations for historical events connected to the tree. Some suggest that the markings in the bark were left by settlers or passers-by, while others imagine indigenous influences or small, private rituals. Even when the origin of these carvings is uncertain, the stories surrounding them are shared softly, emphasizing curiosity and reflection rather than alarm. Each narrative, whether based on observation or imagination, contributes to the ongoing meditation that the Devil's Tree encourages. Visitors often reflect on the tree's isolation and age. Standing beneath its twisted limbs, people notice how the branches have grown over decades, how the bark has weathered, and how the clearing remains secluded and calm. This sense of enduring presence inspires a quiet appreciation for time, nature, and history. Modern legends reinforce this perspective, encouraging visitors to slow down, pay attention, and experience the subtle beauty of a place that has witnessed generations without ever demanding their attention. Many modern stories highlight moments of unexpected serenity. Some visitors describe sudden gaps of quiet as the wind pauses or birds fall silent. creating a brief sense of suspension. Others notice sunlight filtering through the branches in soft, shifting patterns, or shadows that elongate gently across the forest floor. These experiences, while subtle, are deeply memorable, offering a slow, reflective engagement with the environment and a connection to the ongoing legend. The continued fascination with the Devil's Tree has also inspired creative works. Local artists, writers, and photographers often use the tree as a source of inspiration for reflective, calming art. Sketches capture its twisted, aged form, photographs highlight the interplay of light and shadow, stories and essays describe the gentle mystery of the clearing. These creative expressions allow the legend to expand beyond its physical location, reaching new audiences while maintaining the meditative, soothing qualities that define the tree's experience. Even online communities and social media groups contribute to the modern legend. Participants share photographs, soft anecdotes, and reflective observations, emphasizing curiosity and mindfulness rather than fear. Many recount personal experiences in the clearing, the faint rustle of leaves, soft shadows, or subtle light glimmers. These shared stories create a quiet network of attention, linking visitors across time and space and reinforcing the enduring meditative qualities of the tree. Interestingly, the tree's legend continues to evolve without losing its core calming qualities. While stories change, each generation of visitors adds their own reflections, insights, and gentle observations. The Devil's Tree is a living narrative, slowly shaped by personal experience, folklore, and imagination. Each story contributes to the collective sense of wonder, patience, and reflection that defines the site, ensuring that it remains a place for quiet fascination rather than alarm or spectacle. Modern legends also highlight the enduring duality of the tree's reputation. It is at once mysterious and soothing. While its history and shape may inspire subtle curiosity or apprehension, the overall experience emphasizes calm, meditative observation. Visitors often leave with a sense of peace, an awareness of subtle patterns in nature, and a quiet connection to both history and personal reflection. This duality, the balance of mystery and calm, is at the heart of the Devil's Tree's enduring fascination. Even as modern stories circulate, the tree retains its grounding simplicity. There are no elaborate decorations, no dramatic installations, no amplified fear. The clearing remains a secluded, serene space where visitors are invited to notice quietly, reflect gently, and participate in an ongoing meditation with nature and history. Modern legends amplify this experience, encouraging reflection, curiosity, and a slow, attentive engagement with the world. In essence, the Devil's Tree continues to fascinate because it blends mystery with mindfulness. Visitors are drawn by legend, folklore, and stories of subtle phenomena, yet they discover an environment that rewards patience, observation, and calm attention. Modern legends, personal reflections, and gentle fears all contribute to this ongoing narrative, ensuring that the tree's presence remains both captivating and meditative. So, as we imagine the clearing once more, picture the soft sway of branches, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the faint traces of carvings in the bark. Hear the distant calls of nocturnal birds, the whisper of wind, and the subtle patterns of shadows across the forest floor. Visualize visitors pausing quietly, reflecting on their own experiences, and participating in a living legend that spans generations. And recognize that, even in the present day, the Devil's Tree continues to inspire gentle fascination, lingering curiosity, and quiet reflection, a space where modern legends and subtle fears coexist peacefully, inviting every observer to slow down, notice, and connect with the enduring rhythm of the forest. As we arrive at the final chapter of our journey through the legend of the Devil's Tree, it is time to pause, breathe, and reflect on the centuries of stories, observations, and quiet experiences that have accumulated around this remarkable place. The tree stands as it always has, twisted, steadfast, and patient, witness to generations of human curiosity and quiet imagination. In its presence, we are reminded that history, legend, and nature intertwine slowly and subtly, rewarding those who observe with mindfulness and reflection rather than haste or fear. The Devil's Tree, in its quiet clearing, offers a lesson in the gentle persistence of memory. Each carved initial, each faint mark in the bark, and each subtle shift in shadow tells a story. Some of these stories are historical, rooted in the lives of settlers, travelers, and locals who paused to observe or leave a small mark. Others are whispered through folklore, shared from one generation to the next, capturing the imagination without startling the senses. Together, they form a tapestry of calm reflection, a narrative that invites visitors to slow down, notice, and feel connected to the past. For many, visiting the tree becomes a meditative experience. Standing beneath its limbs, one can feel the slow rhythm of the forest, the gentle sway of branches in the wind, the soft rustle of leaves, and the occasional distant call of a nocturnal bird. These elements, simple yet profound, create a space where the mind can settle, where curiosity and reflection coexist, and where the subtle mysteries of nature and history can be appreciated fully. The clearing is not a place of sudden revelations, but of quiet understanding, encouraging us to notice small details, to listen attentively, and to experience presence in its most soothing form. Modern stories and legends, from subtle lights to fleeting shadows, blend seamlessly with historical accounts. Visitors often describe a soft sense of connection to those who came before, the settlers, local families, and curious observers whose quiet attention shaped the ongoing narrative. This connection is not urgent or alarming. It is gentle, like a breeze brushing through the branches, a reminder that human curiosity and reflection have a long, patient rhythm. Each person who pauses in the clearing contributes to this ongoing legacy, participating in a quiet meditation that bridges past and present. Even the tree's more mysterious aspects, the unexplained shadows, soft rustlings, and faint glimmers of light, are experienced with calm awareness. Observers rarely feel fear, instead, they notice, reflect, and appreciate the subtle interplay between imagination and observation. These lingering mysteries are not puzzles to be solved quickly, but invitations to slow the pace of thought, to notice the beauty in small details, and to find comfort in the unknown. The Devil's Tree teaches us that mystery can be both gentle and profound, a lesson as enduring as the tree itself. The carvings in the bark, in particular, offer a tangible connection to human history. Each initial, symbol, and pattern represents a quiet moment in time, left by hands that paused, reflected, and engaged with the tree in their own way. These marks endure across decades, weathered but still visible, inviting us to consider the continuity of human attention and the small ways in which curiosity leaves traces. Observing these carvings encourages mindfulness, patience, and gentle reflection, a reminder that even the smallest actions can carry meaning across time. Local cultural reverence continues to shape how the tree is experienced. Families, hikers, historians, and artists approach the clearing with respect, contributing to a tradition of calm observation. Visitors are encouraged to notice quietly, reflect deeply, and participate in the living legend of the tree without disturbing it. This approach reinforces the meditative, soothing qualities of the site, ensuring that each encounter remains gentle, immersive, and peaceful. The Devil's Tree has endured because people have consistently chosen mindfulness over spectacle, reflection over alarm. Even modern legends, which often hint at subtle supernatural phenomena, serve this purpose. Accounts of soft lights. Gentle sounds, or fleeting shapes are experienced as invitations to slow down and notice rather than as warnings. The emphasis is always on observation, calm curiosity, and patient reflection. In this way, the legends themselves become a part of the meditative practice, encouraging visitors to engage with the forest, the tree, and the quiet rhythms of history with serenity. The clearing also offers an opportunity for personal introspection. Visitors frequently report moments of profound calm while standing beneath the branches, pausing to notice shadows, listening to the forest, or simply breathing in the quiet air. In these moments, the Devil's Tree becomes a mirror, reflecting the observer's own thoughts and feelings. The meditative quality of the experience encourages a sense of timelessness, where the present blends seamlessly with the past, and where imagination and observation coexist peacefully. Even the faintest of mysteries, the subtle rustle of leaves, the brief movement of shadows, or the soft, unexplainable light, can become a source of gentle fascination. Visitors are invited to notice without judgment, to observe without needing immediate explanation, and to find calm in the subtle rhythms of the clearing. This patient engagement fosters a deeper understanding of both the natural world and the enduring power of legend, reinforcing the tree's role as a quiet sanctuary of reflection. In considering the Devil's Tree as part of history, folklore, and culture, we recognize that its significance is not measured by fear or dramatic events. Instead, its power lies in the slow accumulation of attention, curiosity, and reflection over centuries. Each visitor contributes to this ongoing narrative, adding personal stories, gentle observations, and mindful presence to the quiet legacy. The clearing becomes a repository of human experience, shaped by patience, attentiveness, and respect. Even in the modern era, with cameras, recording devices, and digital storytelling, the tree remains unchanged in its calm authority. Observers may document shadows, record sounds, or photograph light patterns. Yet the essence of the experience, reflection, observation, and gentle engagement, remains intact. The Devil's Tree encourages us to slow down, to appreciate subtle phenomena, and to find peace in the rhythms of nature and history. Its enduring presence is a quiet teacher, reminding us that calm curiosity is often more profound than alarm or spectacle. As our journey through the legend comes to a close, we can imagine standing once more in the clearing, surrounded by the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle sway of the branches. We notice the carvings etched by generations of quiet observers, the shadows that stretch and shift in the fading light, and the faint traces of history that linger in every detail. We breathe in the calm, allowing ourselves to reflect on the centuries of stories, experiences, and gentle mysteries that make the Devil's Tree so remarkable. It is in this quiet reflection that the tree's ultimate lesson becomes clear. Mystery need not be loud, history need not be overwhelming, and the past need not be distant. The Devil's Tree demonstrates that calm observation, gentle curiosity, and reflective engagement can create a profound connection to both nature and legend. By slowing down, noticing the subtle, and participating in centuries of mindful attention, each visitor contributes to a living legacy that is quietly enduring. And so, as we prepare to leave the clearing, we carry with us the gentle lessons of the Devil's Tree: patience, observation, and calm curiosity. We remember the generations who have come before, the stories whispered through time, and the subtle mysteries that remain gently unresolved. The tree, steadfast and serene, continues to watch over its clearing, inviting future visitors to pause, reflect, and experience the meditative rhythm of both nature and legend. In the end, the Devil's Tree is not a place of fright, nor is it a destination for dramatic spectacle. It is a sanctuary of quiet wonder, a space where personal stories, lingering mysteries, and centuries of observation converge. Its lessons are soft but enduring. Notice the subtle. Reflect on the past, appreciate the present, and approach the unknown with gentle curiosity. Each visit, each story, and each quiet observation strengthens the calm, meditative legacy that the tree has quietly nurtured for generations. As we take our final moments in thought, we imagine the clearing at dusk, the soft glow of fading sunlight filtering through twisted branches, leaves trembling gently in a slow breeze, and shadows stretching across the forest floor. We hear the distant call of an owl, the quiet rustle of a fox moving softly through underbrush, and the faint whisper of wind through the trees. And in this serene moment, we feel a gentle connection to nature, to history, and to the generations of people who have quietly observed the Devil's Tree. The legend, the history, and the subtle mysteries of the clearing continue to endure, offering calm fascination and quiet reflection to all who pause beneath its branches. In this way, the Devil's Tree remains a living, meditative presence, an enduring symbol of patient observation, gentle curiosity, and the quiet magic that arises when history and nature meet slowly and thoughtfully. If you are still awake, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air moving gently in and out. Let your body sink softly into the surface beneath you. Imagine the Devil's Tree standing quietly in its clearing, its branches swaying gently, its shadows stretching softly across the forest floor. Carry with you the calm of this quiet place, the whispers of history, and the gentle rhythm of nature. And drift away peacefully, letting your mind and body rest. Good night.